Red Sox are back at it on Wednesday night in Baltimore after an off day on Tuesday as they take on the Baltimore Orioles. We have a lot to cover in another episode of Red Sox Now. I'm your host, Mike Antonellis, one of the radio and TV broadcasters for the Worcester Red Sox. And believe it or not, we will talk a little Woo Sox in the final segment. Well, I'll tell you what. I remember back in the day when the Red Sox, let's go back to 1986. That was a really good year. But even beyond that, a guy named Roger Clemens, it always seemed there were times the Red Sox had 3 or 4 losses in a row, and it was the Rockets' turn to pitch. He always seemed to come through when you needed that stopper. That's what they called it. That's what that top-of-the-rotation guy can do. And that's how baseball works. You always hear that cliche, you're only as good as your starting pitcher that day. This is a different kind of starting pitcher. Just ask Baltimore who they'd rather face, Sean Newcomb or Garrett Crochet. So he's on the bump today, fresh off a brand new $170 million contract. He is on the bump in Baltimore. You know, I think Crochet is matchup proof to me, ballpark proof. Now, Baltimore is a lot bigger, but you kind of love having a guy like this. Not kind of. You love it coming off an off day, and you have your guy on the hill. He can relax now. He's got his contract. And I thought in his first outing on opening day in Texas, despite only going 5 innings, despite him being really upset, that's probably as bad as a start he's had in a while. He's still pretty damn good. So you got Crochet on the bump when the Red Sox try to snap this losing streak. In Game 2, middle game of this 3-game series in Baltimore, the Sox will play tomorrow. Kind of interesting the way the schedule works this year. Usually when you start the season on the road, you'll come home with an off day. No teams are really doing that. The Sox will play Thursday, then immediately Friday, the home opener. And I love who they're playing, the Cardinals, on opening day. Day off early in the season can help a lot. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think it's could be overstated enough just for the fact that the Red Sox have used some bullpen guys. Give those guys an extra day off. Even the starting pitchers an extra day off. A chance to just decompress, relax in Baltimore, watch movies all day in the hotel. But, yeah, you know, I think it's a good thing. I don't think days off are ever bad in Major League Baseball with it being such a grind. And the Players Union a few years ago wanted more days off. That's why this season starts so early, is to give the players more days off. They have more Mondays off. And the reason, if you're wondering, I don't expect everyone to know everything about baseball. So sometimes I like to, if you hear me explaining things and you're like, yes, I know that, there are people watching here that don't know that. And for those that are new, please like, subscribe, and comment here on Red Sox Now. But what they always do is teams want a day off after their home opener in case there's a rainout. So if Baltimore was rained out Monday, they would have played that game on Tuesday. Now, the Red Sox don't have that luxury the way the schedule works, starting on the road and playing on a Thursday. They can't have an off day Friday because that's a good day to have baseball. So for the Red Sox, it doesn't work, which is kind of weird because you're playing the Cardinals, right? The schedule is a little wacky. This is the only time St. Louis comes to Boston. So if you have some weather this weekend, it can be challenging. But again, going back to that, I don't think days off are bad one bit. All right, I got this message on my personal Facebook page, and you can find me everywhere. I'm on X at the Radio Mike, but you just search Mike Antonellis on Facebook. If you want to add me as a friend, go ahead. I post this Red Sox Now episode every day. And Bob gave me a nice comment on here. And I said, listen, I'll talk about that today. This will be a topic in the show. He said, you could trade Devers right now. You would get a lot for Rafael Devers. All right, let's examine that. Let's look at both sides of this. You're in year 3 of a deal worth $310 million. So if the Red Sox were to do this, I would imagine they're not paying the remainder of that deal, right? Depends. I guess you could say depends who you get back. What team, to me, when you have no leverage right now, if you were thinking about entertaining a trade right now with Rafael Devers to some teams, if you were calling now, if they're calling you saying, hey, listen, we think this guy can play third base, we want him badly. If there's a team like that out there, I don't think things are like that anymore. The way the teams are constructed, and by the way, there would only be a few teams that would be able to do that. Maybe the Padres. I don't think the Dodgers. Maybe. But why would they, in this position where the player has a lot going against him? So if you're the trade partner right now, not only has Devers struggled this year, going back to the last 3 years, the last 3 games of last year where he was 0 for, and going back, and this is something if you want to watch yesterday's episode, this is going back to last August 2nd, and you can tell me, well, he was hurt then. Doesn't matter. When you're talking about trading, the other team's like, listen, this guy hasn't been hitting for a while. So what team would ever do that for you? You have to have some sort of leverage in, especially for the Boston Red Sox. If you are able to get the entire $310 million off or the remainder of that off your hands, that would be crazy. And I don't see any team in their right mind doing that. That would make no sense for any team to do that. Unless they were really desperate, lost a third baseman for the season. But still, that is a big commitment for a GM to make, to tell his owner, hey, we're going to take on. So I don't see that happening. I don't see the Red Sox paying the rest of that for someone else. That's the problem. That is the problem where I've talked about a lot with contracts. People in New England, now we do have people that watch outside of New England. People here in New England are nuts about spending. They don't care. Spend. But then when it comes to situations where you've had many in this organization, I can bring up Rusney Castillo, I can bring up Pablo Sandoval, Carl Crawford, John Lackey, on and on and on. And some are saying this with Trevor Story, that the problem with contracts in Major League Baseball is you have to live with them. So this is year 3. If this player does not work out, good luck. This is the argument against long-term deals. Because in baseball, you have to live with the player. And you have no roster flexibility. And that's what the big markets get sucked into because they're big markets. Now, big market teams like the Red Sox and Yankees and Dodgers, they can't run their team the way others do. They just can't. You need stars. But there's always the other side of the coin to this. When people are nuts about spending. Well, in the end, who's on the hook for all this? The Red Sox get bailed out years ago with the Dodgers when they were able to get rid of Gonzalez and Crawford. That's not happening anymore, folks. So right now, you got to ride this out. And I still don't think Rafael Devers is done. I don't believe the DH thing. I just don't think he had enough spring training. I really don't. I think that's for him. The other stuff is just, a lot of sports talk radio, which I get. All right, let's transition. One final thing. The Worcester Red Sox opened up their first road trip on Tuesday in Jacksonville. They actually had a rain delay. But guess what? The pitching matchup was an all big league rehab. Brian Bayo against Edward Cabrera, rehabbing for the Marlins AAA affiliate. He did pretty good over 3 innings and 1 run. In rehab outings, especially number 1 for major leaguers, don't go deep into it. Bayo had a little bit of a rocky third inning, but he still struck out 5 over 2 1/3, 4 hits, 4 runs. He walked 2. 32 of 47 pitches were strikes. But the big thing, and you can Google this, in the 6th inning, Marcelo Meyer hit a monster home run in that ball game. And he was the pregame interview last night. And, boy, he's talking a lot about, no one wants to be in AAA. He is really locked in, and you can tell this guy wants to be at the next level. Vaughn Grissom also homered as well. I said this yesterday, and I've said it many times. Red Sox fans, you're going to really like, well, they already know, but Meyer and Anthony are going to make a huge difference, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's this year. All right, thank you for watching. We need you to subscribe. We need you to comment. We need you to like, and we need the Red Sox to win tonight in Baltimore, and hopefully on Thursday on Red Sox Now, we're talking about a W as Garrett Crochet is on the hill. So have a great day. Thank you for watching another episode of Red Sox Now.